Yo, today I'm back with a new video and another part of the farming tutorials. Before we get into the run, this video is going to be a bit different than the first one, the DOA one. Last time we had one improvised live commentated run from my weekly community legendaries over on twitch.tv/toasteyxgod. This time I recorded some runs and we'll go into some different strats on Capital, since I do believe there's more viable and different strats than on DOA. On DOA, a run with Striker or Regulus won't really change how I farm and how I play, where on Capital, different strats will change my play a lot. Please let me know which style of video you prefer, and I hope you enjoy the video. Alright, so we're gonna go over the builds quickly. We have our standard build Eclipse farm with BTSU and a courier. Weapons of choices are still and gonna be all the way Scorpio, Lefty, and in my attempt a harvest with Future Perfect, because if you can snag a kill, that's gonna be another free overcharge. Then we have a FI foam, which is something we can run on a few areas, which I'll show later as well. Basically 4-piece FI instead of Eclipse with status effect, a courier, and BTSU. And otherwise we have a FI healer, which basically is a setup, a healing chem instead of our foam, and repair skills on the pieces. I will post the builds in the description as well, so you can look at them in more detail. Alright, just as a quick addition, I'm going to quickly go over Oxidizer, which versions I usually use, and what is used in the build. You can find the details in the build folder I will post in the description. So I'm running Technician as a specialization for the Artificer Hive, as well as, obviously, my Oxidizer. 3-piece Empress, Foxys, Contractors, and Wyvern, those are the base pieces. Everything is skill damage and skill haste, and the mods are skill duration for me. If I have someone else overcharging for me, this is going to be the highest damage setup. Otherwise, I can just either swap in BTSU, which would be the highest after that, so I can BTSU overcharge myself, or I am just going to put on Acosta, which lowers my damage, but BTSU has a very long cooldown, so it's usually good to swap between overcharges. For the weapons, I have Chatter and Measured LMG. Both of these increase the rate of fire on my chem, so I can shoot chems faster. Chatter is going to be a way bigger increase, but at the same time, it's just not always realistic to get Chatter stacks. And Measured is on an LMG because of the very high damage to targets out of cover and damage to armor values. And as a pistol, we have our backup boomstick for same thing as an LMG, very high damage to armor and target out of cover values, and in sync for another damage buff. So for the first room, this is going to be Striker version. Ideally, we always have decoys in the first room. 1 or 2 is usually enough. I'll get an early overcharge in. I miss my foam. But yeah, just put on an overcharged foam in the middle of the group. Try to get everyone. If I run past, I can do another foam, but that's not necessary. I drop my hive here so I can heal my teammates. And at the same time, they were going to stay there. And we make sure to get that one ad that spawned. Afterwards, it's cleaning up and being ready for the second spawn, which I form here. 1 form usually should be enough, but since the teammates were still on the bottom, I threw a sledge grenade as well. And otherwise, that's pretty much the first room. For the second version, we're going to do 1 Headhunter. It's going to be the same with decoys and my overcharge, so that's always going to be consistent, as well as me missing my form here. But what it's going to change is Broken is going to run up top, in this case as the Regulus player, and we are going to stay on the bottom, clean the initial ads. And I want to make sure to send a form here just so it's easier for Broken. And you can see everyone is formed on top, and we are just here to clean up the ads and get ready. You can Oxy the first room, however it's a bit more complicated setup, so I won't be showing you this in this video. We're gonna start the second room from where we ended the first room. What we want to do here is delay our foam, and I try to shoot it to the side just to give my team a bit more space. You see here, we're splitting up, so we have 2 on the right, 1 on the left. However you want to do it, it's ideal if you split. So you push them into each other pretty much, and no one's gonna run away and hide. I can reform and sledge if I feel like we need it, but in the end, usually it's not needed. The chopper is not really my concern. I can't really do a lot there. For this time, I'm gonna be filming when Broken is gonna play the Oxy. I'm gonna show the Oxy in the next clip as well. But basically all he does is he's gonna shoot his Oxys, he's gonna overcharge with a Custonate, and I'm gonna send out one foam as soon as I see the enemies. And that's kinda it. That was way cleaner than the next attempt, but it showcases what you are doing anyway. But yeah, like you see here, even if I foam the chopper, nothing is gonna happen. They can't see them if they are foamed. So I'm just banking on my teammates to either kill them on the rope or the enemies running down. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna shoot my Oxys. I usually shoot like 4 to 5. Then I'm gonna throw my overcharge and tell my teammates to open. I can shoot a few more. And like you see here, the foam, just to keep them in there. I tried to proc my in-sync on the shotgun, but I missed. And even though that was a bit less clean than on the run before, it worked out still pretty smooth. What I'm gonna do here is wipe just to get my Oxys back. Because if I'm gonna die here before my team clears the room, I'm gonna respawn with full Oxys to use them for the next room or to change build clean. So for the third room, or mini tank room, as you can see here, I try to wait out the pulse. After you get pulsed, you have a slight window of not being EMP'd, so I can use that to instantly foam. We're gonna group up on one side, all on striker this time. You wanna have EMP stickies on your teammate just to get the mini tanks, and I'm basically just running around trying to foam and at the same time drop my healing hive in the group. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna all face towards the door where the enemy is in front, like you'll see now. So I on spawn in pretty much one area, and it's gonna be pretty easy to handle with. I'm not gonna instantly foam, I'm gonna wait a bit, because like you see now, creeping death just foams a lot of enemies behind the wall or something. So I try to not foam too early, just to give my teammates the chance to shoot them. I can throw a Sledgenade, I can basically just shoot some Scorpio, that's what I like to do. And otherwise, try to keep my teammates up and foam everything. Overall, striker here is pretty simple. And I'm gonna go into the regulars. So I tried to do the same thing here, like I did before, of foaming while not being pulsed. It didn't work out too well, so now we have no foam. I overcharged easily this time because it was off cooldown by the point, and it definitely helps us. So here Prodigy goes down, and that is actually my fault, because I didn't foam instantly, so the guy could flank him. And I still decided to take this run, just because, to show you guys shit can happen. We're gonna force the enemies at the same door, like before, like we always do. And I send in one foam just to keep them a bit in place. And we're going to have one Headhunter on top and one Headhunter on bottom. And all I'm going to do is, if they escape, I'll foam them. And that's pretty much what I do. I can drop the hive here, but at the same time the guys are running Hunter's Fury, so it doesn't matter too much. If someone escape, I can still kill him with my Scorpio. And that's pretty much what I do here. The next clip is Oxy, together with 2 strikers. So what we're gonna do here is, the strikers are gonna make sure to clear the initials. I'm gonna do a pretty quick overcharge again. I managed to foam again this time. We just try to clear the initials as fast as possible. And Broken is gonna take my BTSU for his Oxys and is gonna do another overcharge with Acosta himself. And after we clear the initials, I'm gonna try to get one foam in, just to spread. Like you see here, I'm gonna throw a sledge on top and on the bottom. And I'm gonna show you here where Broken is shooting his Oxys at. Like right at that point. And now we're just gonna wait. And that's the room. So this room I have in just for completion's sake. It's kind of simple. So one guy is gonna EMP the dog. I'm gonna foam here. I like to push up here. If I reach that point where the drone is, pretty much, we're not gonna get two purples, so we can avoid them. I'm gonna pick up my hive again. Broken is gonna push up. I'll foam for him once, and the other guys have cleared up the rest, and that's kind of it. So that's pretty simple. There's only gonna be one clip for here. For the next room, we are basically gonna push up together. So I'm gonna wait until the enemies spot us. And then I'll foam. I'll foam as late as possible just to give my teammates more chance. I wanted to throw my hive, but I saw my teammates are on full HP, so I don't have to throw it. Can ream foam here. We cleared everything. And what we want to do is push up together with Striker on top. And I can just drop my hive here. And that's it. After foaming, it should spread like you see here, so I didn't really have to reform or something. And yeah, this time we are gonna play it as a different version, so we're gonna have a Headhunter or two Headhunters pushing up. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I wait as long as possible with the foam. Try to foam everything. Prodigy is with me on the bottom as a striker, so he's gonna help me. Or the other way, I'm gonna help him clear out the initials. Then I'm gonna try to get a foam in, so the first spawn is foamed. And we're gonna push up after everything is clear. I'm gonna throw a hive in. And the team is just gonna regular kill everything. When I'm up, I can foam if I see they need it, but guys are doing fine. So for the roof, we are starting again on Striker. I'm gonna do an early overcharge. And right when I come out, I'm gonna foam the right spawn. And I'm gonna sledge. I'm gonna let my hive charge up a bit, and then I'll drop it again for the teammates. And we're gonna have one guy, in this case Broken, run to the left. Basically what I'm gonna do here is just juggle around, shooting Scorpio, foaming if a new spawn happened, and throwing sledge. You definitely need to have EMP stickies on your team, just to EMP the dogs and the mini tanks, which are gonna spawn a lot. And otherwise, if you manage to do it like we did here, it's actually quite clean. We do have one player on the left to block the left spawn, so what that means is the enemies will only spawn from this door. I'm gonna show in the next clip how that would look like. Here we kind of thought that would have been the last enemy, but we had one more wave, so we kind of pushed up a bit too early. But it worked out in the end, and since I do always save my foam, I was able to put in another foam when needed. So for the positioning here, you see me running over as a foam. That should never be a foam. We tested it, and it should always be a striker. You'll see why. But it's the same thing in theory. Foam after overcharge. And yeah, I'm gonna run to the left while already looking to the right door. But like you see here, I can't heal my teammates. I can't do anything against the dogs. So in this position should always be a DPS player. And now as an Oxy, we like to run it with 2 Oxys and 1 striker. You definitely need a striker, but 1 Oxy is enough as well. I'm gonna overcharge for my Oxy. And same thing, instant foam. We get an instant EMP. And Broken is gonna go to the left again to block the spawn. I'm just gonna chill here and basically do not a lot. Sometimes refoam. And Prodigy is gonna take care of the Chunga because he's gonna die the slowest. And with 2 Oxys, it's quite a fast room. So for the boss, I did change to the FI healer. Ideally we want to have at minimum 1 decoy, but 2 usually works better. We're just gonna run here and drop the decoys. I'm gonna drop a healing and shoot a camera too as well to keep my teammate up. I'm gonna drop my hive in the group and we're gonna bunch up here. Broken is gonna jump up top to have a different position and basically a different angle. And what I'm gonna do here is more healer than foam stuff. So I'm gonna try to break some chungas and dogs with the crossbow. I'm gonna keep my teammates, try to keep them at full HP because you do get the FI buff. So that's what we're running FI for. And otherwise, just try to tag a lot of enemies for the opportunistic buff. And that's pretty simple. Like always on my videos and on my guides, this is not the only way to do it. This is some ways we found out, and I tried to make it a bit different this time by showing some more casual strats, even though they probably aren't all that casual anyway, and some more advanced stuff like regulars and just playing Oxy, because I do sometimes get asked where to start with wanting to go faster, and this is a good point. So let me know what you thought about this style of video compared to the original form. And yeah, I'm gonna drop an overcharge here, just because we're nearing the end of the mission, and that allows us to push a bit more. For Prodigy, for example, with his shield to have a very strong shield, for the decoys to be very strong, for my healing. And yeah, let's copy the boss, let's copy the chunga, and that pretty much sums up Capital.